Okay. And just like that, we are caught deep within the simulation, deep within the snake pit. We're back. We haven't been in this format in quite some time, but this is how our whole LA journey started. We started recording podcasts at the Third Wheel studio in Hollywood. And I first off want to address the elephant in the room. The elephant being who's engineering the episode. My man, Zach. Thank you. Appreciate it, man. And before I introduced our panel of kick-ass movie producers today, I apologize for being late, everybody. Today has been a whirlwind of emotions, which we'll discuss later. But it is show business, so it's time to rock. Now, on my right, camera left, who do we have with us today?
Hey, I'm Gavin. I'm one of the producers of Conrad the Last Defender.
And let's pass it off to
Killian Dunn. I wrote the story.
Let's just kind of kick off. What is the project? How you and I kind of came up with the idea, when this all happened, how we even started working on this in the first place.
Yeah. Literally from day one, I guess, I was living out in LA. Conor was still back in Boston. I'd met Conor before, like 3 or 4 years ago at Providence, but you came and stayed with us for a week, and that was where I really got to know you. And you called me, I think the day you got back to Boston, you were like, dude, I have this idea. I want you to write it. And before you even told me the idea, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I'm in. I just watched Apple Cinema because you were here promoting it. And Conor proceeds to tell me the craziest outline I think I'd ever heard, just conceptually speaking. Yeah. Essentially, the way you pitched it to me was, I want to write a story about a world that's overrun by dragons. I want to have a protagonist who is essentially like a generational hero, where generations before him have been in the exact same position but have failed. And you said that you wanted it to be kind of like a metaphor for manhood, and how young men transition into manhood and all of the struggles that come with it. So we basically we had just that, and I decided to just crack out like a 90-page screenplay, and then we started from there. And if I remember correctly, we had a call about a week after you read the screenplay, and you were like, dude, this is a great place to start from, but we need to fine-tune the fuck out of this. We need to make sure that this is something that people have never seen before. So we took it scene by scene, literally line by line, character by character, and we made something that was totally unique. And we really built a world that nobody's really ever seen before, because it's partly based on, true Boston. The place that it's set is called Bostonia. And it's the way I like to think about it is it's almost as if medieval / revolutionary times in the United States were halted completely by this influx of dragons that completely overrun the entire country and the entire world. So it's as if there wasn't and hasn't been any sort of societal development. So we're kind of stuck in this period of time that now technically it's present day, but everything is, really backward. And of course, everything is overrun by dragons. So people live in total fear. And then we just, it kind of brings us to today. We've done so much work in it. The world is literally its own world. Feel like you could live in it if you closed your eyes. And we've got a kick-ass story, which we've boiled down several times into first of all, 126-page screenplay, I think right now, which would be a little over 2 hours on film. And then we boiled that down further into a 15-minute short film, which is what we're going to plan to shoot first. And then we have, of course, our kind of sizzle proof of concept, which is just an even more kind of diluted and compressed story.
I think what's very important that people know is that this is something you and I have talked about every day since before I even moved out here. And this has always been our goal out here, even with all the parties and the podcasts. We wanted to get to the point to make another project. For my film in Boston, if anyone's seen it, I know I've said this 100 million times, but I think everyone's going to be like, all right, that dude knows what he's doing producing a project, but he should not be writing it. And millions of people told me that after the project. Like, dude, sick effects. It looks like a Hollywood movie, but what the fuck happened? So essentially, I didn't know a single writer. I had never met a writer and someone who had actually written screenplays. And so when I came out here in post-production, when I was working on my movie in Boston, I met Killian because his roommate is my friend from college. And he was like, yeah, I'm a writer. I was like, all right, fucking perfect. I don't even know if this guy's any good, but let's just give him a fucking shot. And so
That's great.
Exactly. I was like, all right, well, you know what you're doing. I don't. I got to overdose on Adderall to finish the screenplay. So do your thing. So essentially, we just kind of just hopped on. So was Apple Cinema done at that point?
Yeah, Apple Cinema was done. And you had just done your like premiere. I believe, like a couple of weeks before, and then you came out to LA afterwards, and you were pitching it, and that was when I first saw it because you just sent me like the Vimeo link so that I could watch it at home.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So if anyone has seen Apple Cinema, Killian's roommate, his name is Michael Frick. Let's actually, maybe I should. Anyway, I don't know if his employer knows he's an actor in a film, but anyway, he was the actor who like walks outside. He has the mask. He goes, we can take this fucking apocalypse on. And he walks out and he like sucks in all this smoke and he dies. So that's Killian's roommate. And he was in a bunch of my videos in college too. And so he connected us. And then essentially Killian and I, since being out here, have done everything together. Like every event, every podcast, we've just been scheming like, all right, we just need to we need people to trust us. We need people to understand we do what we say we're going to do. If we can do an event, we can make another movie. And so it's just been our goal out here to meet as many fucking people as possible. And now it feels a little fucking surreal that we're like 2 weeks out from, I'm sure we'll release this after, but we're 2 weeks out from launching the Kickstarter.
Yep.
And Gavin, in your experience, actually, Gav, why don't you just talk about who you are, what you do, and kind of like what this is for you?
Yeah. So, obviously, you came to me with this project, and you're like,
well, let's talk about how we met.
So you and I met at a party. We're both just kind of standing there, kind of awkwardly, like see each other and like, hey, what's up? We're both like, who's this guy? And so you told me you do podcasts for producers, and I was like, well, ironically, I'm a producer. And we both kind of wrote each other off. We're just like, yeah, it's another Hollywood, it's like some bullshit, whatever. But then we, went out to lunch and realized, hey, we're actually both out here hustling. We're doing things, trying to make it happen, and just good guys down to the core. And I think that's kind of like what made me want to work with you so much.
Well, what happened was we were at this party, and Gavin, he's like, what do you do? I was like, well, I'm running a podcast right now, but I made a movie in Boston. And then he's like, oh, dude, no way. I actually made a movie too. And so we both left and like, that dude is so fucking full of shit. There's no way. Right. But coincidentally, you did make a movie before making this project.
Yeah. Probably 5 years ago now, we filmed a feature, and it was my first feature, and it was a really great project with an awesome team, and we got distribution, and like it just went really well, and so I was telling Conor about it, and he was telling me about his movie Apple Cinema, which he sent to me and I watched, and I was like, oh shit, all right, this guy knows how to not only produce a movie, but like, yeah, it's a great actor as well.
Keep the ego boost coming.
Yeah.
Some people lose their way in the snake pit.
Yeah. So we talked about it, and he approached me for this one, Conrad, The Last Defender, and was just like, hey man, I have a sick Dragons movie. It's going to be heavy visual effects. Like, I want you to be a part of it. And I personally have always wanted to do, a fantasy movie. And I love the like medieval genre. Like, Game of Thrones is like way up there for me in terms of, my favorite TV shows. And, Lord of the Rings as a kid growing up was just another, show I loved to watch. And so getting to work on something like this, like an opportunity to work on a fantasy movie with an awesome script that's super funny and, intelligent and, heavy visual effects, I think it's just going to be super, super exciting. And so, yeah,
I think we can all resonate as like rah Hollywood as it sounds. We all came here to make big shit. Like I think it's something we all share. And that's why we talk every day, is like, we want to make big projects. I never had the interest in coming out here and like making drama films. And so I think there is something so daunting about trying to do something so fucking extensive visually.
Yeah.
especially on a production end.
Yeah.
But I actually think that's the reason we've all been hustling so much, because we feel like we're going for something big. Would you agree?
I would completely agree. Yeah, I mean, this is it's going to be an absolutely like gigantic story and film. Like,
it's very ambitious, but we're gonna do it. It's gonna be awesome.
It's huge. But one thing I love about all of us working together is like we're very much like, you know, whether we are or we aren't very organized people in our own personal lives. When it comes to film and work, I think all of our passion combined like just kind of makes this like really doable. Like, even though like our story is massive and like it is very VFX heavy, and you know, I think at first glance people would probably be like, whoa, like, you know, this is ambitious for sure. I have total faith that we're gonna absolutely like nail the fuck out of this. Like,
Absolutely.
we've been talking about this so like every single day. Like, we know every single like inch of this story, and I feel like, Conor, I mean, you can definitely speak to this the most, but I feel like you've thought about how to execute on every single line of that script.
Indeed. I actually, to be honest with you, I think we should all sit down and like, or as I had texted you, go on a walk and like really figure out how do we give a character that is experiencing similar to stuff that we're all kind of going through. Like, what is it like to be a 26, 27, 28-year-old guy who's like going and achieving more, and like what sacrifices does he have to make, and what does that feel like? Because that's what I think the importance of the character is like relatable for dudes our age.
Yeah,
like,
where's their headspace at that point in life, you know? Are they lost? You know, a lot of us feel like at that point in life that we're at the point where it's the transition period, you know, right? Where we are coming out of our kind of like growing up phase and moving into our, you know, our manhood phase. And so it's the feelings and like the headspace of that transition from being a young man into, you know, a man who has, you know, obligations and responsibilities, and also just like, you know, the emotions that come with all of that and the relatability with that. It's, yeah.
I also think there's a lot of, and you correct me if I'm wrong, there's a lot of neglect at this age. Like, you know, a lot of dudes know they should be doing certain shit, but they just don't do it.
Yeah.
Think of your friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. even me, I'm like,
Yeah,
I got stuff I got to do, but you know, I'm gonna put it off and have some fun. But also, there's the realization that you can't do that forever, and you have to tackle and face face things head on, because that's the only way you're gonna move forward in life. So,
and also we're at this interesting age where it's like dudes make decisions, whether it's like, all right, I'm gonna try to speed my life up, or it's time to slow my life down.
Yeah.
And I think we're all immature enough to try to keep going. So, yeah, making movies in Hollywood. Let's do it, man. Now, Gav, we talked about this in the car, but I think the term producer is like such a fucking blanket term. Can you kind of explain what you do, what you're going to do on the project?
Right. So think of a producer as like almost a CEO of a startup company, right? So you take a project from its beginning origins, right? So, you know, Killian, we have a script. That's awesome. Great. Thank you for that. Now, my job is to essentially figure out how do we turn that script into a tangible, you know, piece of content, and what do we do with that? So we're going to, figure out basically how we make it. What is the approach? What is all the story that we're making, and how does that get made? And so, you know, there's like the visual effects side of things. There's the physical production side of things, figuring out the crew and the money, all that stuff. It's basically the job of a producer is to gather the information, organize it, and then execute on it to make the project happen. And then once the project is made, you know, once it's shot and edited, the producer sits in the post process, figures out, you know, okay, here's a little tweak. Here's how we can make the story flow a little better into the final product. And once you have the final product, you know, you have to market it and get it sold and figure out all the deals and the legal stuff. It's quite a lot, honestly. It's the job of a producer. So,
for a simpleton, what a producer does, the way I describe it, producers are the doers. So essentially, the producers pull the pieces together and the director makes sure it looks good. And then Killian will also act as a producer on this as well. He'll be a doer. He'll make sure that the story works. And we can talk to that too. But to your point, our relationship on the project is like, I'm going to pull the pieces together. You're going to make sure I'm not brain dead. Right?
More or less. Yeah.
You're like, we're running through the budget, man. What's going on, man?
Conor, you're the more big picture guy, and I'm the detail oriented guy that figures out all the little, like, the tiny little details that make it, flow seamlessly. So,
well, it's been beautiful working with both you guys because in Boston, I felt I had to do every job, and I'm not good at every job. And so all I have to do is focus on the things I'm good at now that we have a team, which has been very nice. So thank you, brethren.
Yeah, of course.
Now, Kill, do you want to kind of explain like what you think your role is going to be once we start shooting, once it's time to go?
Yeah. Once we start shooting, once it's time to go, I will essentially have two roles the way I see it. One, the obvious kind of like a script supervisor. I'll be there to change whatever needs to be changed, especially once we start bringing actors on board and things of that nature. I feel like things will inevitably change, but the story and the roots are already there. So, that will just kind of be things as they pop up. And then secondly, I'll kind of act as like a creative producer as well. I will absolutely be on my feet, running around, doing whatever it takes to get things done that day, just to make sure that our schedule, each day runs to completion. But as well as that, creatively, I like to think that all three of us are incredibly creative people in our own regard, like even if you might not think so yourselves. So each of us will kind of act as a creative producer in that regard. But I also think that, when things do pop up, we should always be thinking about different ways to do things. And if, we have a plan and then day of, we're like, oh shit, like, this could actually be really cool. It's just up to us to like make that kind of split second decision. And I think that's where kind of I can help the most in terms of producing.
Well, where you really break the stigma is you're a hustler before you're a writer. And everyone pictures writers as like nerds who like stay in a library all day and write in a journal. But you're a grinder before you're a writer.
Yeah, I'm just fucking obsessed with storytelling and
just doing stuff.
Yeah, just like when I get the idea, it's like the same thing with anything. It's like, if I come up with an idea that I really, really love, like I have to finish it. Like I have to do it. So I will lock myself in my room for like 10 hours, like a fucking crazy person. But then I'll finish it in like a week. And then I have the social capabilities to go out there and actually talk to people about it, which definitely really helps.
You have incredible social capabilities. Ask all your Hinge dates.
Yeah, or maybe not.
Or don't ask.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah. All right, now Gav, tell me, what do you see as being the biggest production challenge in your brain?
Yeah, for this project, I think this one's going to be a little tougher just with the visual effects side of things, because when you add in visual effects, it creates a lot of chaos on set, because like there's so much more that goes into the preparation for it. You need to have everything figured out walking in, but at the same time, like we all know with productions, things don't always go exactly how you planned. And so I think the biggest challenge for this one is just going to be, trying to make sure that we're getting everything on set that's going to match our post-production visual effects like perfectly. And
it's a lot of details involved.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of details, a lot of communication that needs to happen, as well as the preparation needs to be, everything needs to be thought out ahead of time. And even with that, there's going to be things that come up that you can't foresee. And so it's just making sure that we get everything that's going to work in post-production. I think that's going to be one of the harder things for this project.
I do think it's important people know, like, why a Dragons movie? Why would you do this? I personally just want to prove to people in the fucking universe, in the world, like, look, we can do way more than just throw events and make a small movie. We can take on the big shit. We're all more than capable of doing it. I think I personally feel hungrier than ever for a bigger challenge. And I just want the world to know, like, look, we can pull this off. We can handle the biggest projects in the world. Would you concur?
Absolutely. Like that's the goal with this, is to show what our capabilities are. Not only do we all, I mean, we all love this genre, but at the same time, like it's this taking on a project of this caliber is more to show our grit and our, you know, our chops, for making movies and telling stories
With
right?
nothing.
With nothing. Yeah.
I told you guys this a million times, but Apple Cinema probably ran me like 40 racks, right? Anywhere from like 20 to 40. And I came out here and they were like, dude, that's like one shot in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
That's it. I want to show everyone what we can do with not that much.
Yeah.
You know? And I want a catalyst. Like I want things to move. And this is me personally. I want things to move faster in my life. I feel like personally I'm at the precipice of like so much great stuff happening career-wise. And it's like, it's time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm ready. Does anyone else feel that way?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is just the beginning for all of us, I think. You know, this is like the snowball's starting to get some traction, and it's going to grow pretty big pretty quickly, I think.
Can you guys kind of speak to why you got into doing this in the first place?
Are you looking for why I started writing in the first place?
Writing movies, yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
And when did it start for you?
I wrote my first screenplay when I was 18 years old. I remember the exact day and the exact reason why, because I'm fucking obsessed with movies. Always have been. Literally always been obsessed. I would watch 2 new movies a day, every single day after school. And that was with like homework and like soccer practice and all of that stuff. So I just genuinely love movies. But then when I was 18, I watched this movie, Midnight in Paris, which if you haven't seen it, it's like this awesome movie about a writer who essentially goes back in time every night at midnight while he's like vacationing in Paris, and he gets to meet all of his idols like F. Scott Fitzgerald, like the guy who wrote The Great Gatsby, things like that. And when the movie finished, I remember just being like really like wicked inspired, and I was like, you know what, why not like do this? Like I could totally do that. So opened up my laptop, cracked out like a 10-page screenplay, had nobody to send it to except for my other buddy who was obsessed with films. He read it. He was like, yep, this is absolutely fucking trash. But I'd love to, he's like, but I'd love to start writing stuff. So started writing when I was 18 and just like didn't stop. I just genuinely loved it. Didn't think it was going to be a career or anything. I just like telling stories. And then when I was 22, I decided to write a book, and then it just kind of like accelerated everything. Like it accelerated like the film stuff, and then I just became more obsessed with writing and with like movies. And then when I was 24, graduated college. I'm not stupid. I just did 6 years of high school in Dublin and 5 years of college at Northeastern. I promise I'm not dumb. And then when I was 24, I wrote a script called Fisherman of Isla Morada. It did really well on the Blacklist, which is just like an industry-wide known like script platform.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it did like really well on the Blacklist.
It got on Blacklist.
Yeah, my name was not the annual one, but it was like Showcase. My name was next to Sheila Buff. He wrote a script, and it was like Killian Dunn and Sheila Buff were right next to each other.
Sheila Buff? Shia
LaBeouf. Sorry.
Shia LaBeouf. I was gonna
I'm Irish. Yeah, and then I remember just like seeing that, and I was like, "Fuck it! Like, I'll fucking move to LA. Like, I can clearly write a story that's like good enough to, you know, be turned into a film." So So you
moved out here for the writing.
Moved out here strictly for the writing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, strictly for the writing.
And the chicks.
Yeah, and the chicks aren't bad. But
the beach.
Yeah, the beach is good too. And yeah, all of that jazz. But yeah, the writing, I just like genuinely fucking love it. I would do it for free every single day in my life. But I like money too. And, I like people reading my stuff, and I just want to get better. So yeah.
Awesome.
Gav, to pivot the question real quick, and then we'll screen in the 2 guys after this. I want you to discuss your goal with building up an industry in Minnesota, like what your fucking long term is, what the pinnacle goal for you is.
So my very ambitious, pipe dream is, someday I would love to start an industry, right? Like Carnegie. Like I want to build the industry, take the film industry to Minnesota in the way that it's in LA or in Atlanta, right? I want to set up warehouses and studios where Netflix and other major studios can come and film and shoot their shows and movies and create jobs for hundreds of thousands of people. Convince the Minnesota government to give tax breaks so that can happen. But like, the ultimate goal is to build the industry in Minnesota, and why not there? It's very central. You have a 3-hour flight from pretty much everywhere in the U.S. We have Netflix currently shoots a majority of their stuff in Canada and Vancouver, and so take those opportunities back into the U.S. and into a state that I obviously hold dear. I'm from Minnesota, so everyone I meet from Minnesota loves movies. It's winter. It's like 7 months of the year there. So what is there to do during that time? Watch movies, right? So I think,
and be an incredibly nice person,
and the incredibly nice, and the stereotypical like hard work. I think it's just it would be awesome to bring an industry and give people opportunities for things that they love is kind of the pipe dream. So
it's fire. It's my goal too.
Yeah.
I want to be someone that my city can be very proud of.
Yeah.
And I want to have the leverage to be able to bring back $1 million projects to Boston long term.
Yeah.
30s. That's my goal.
Yeah.
So I'm totally with you on that. Now, can we screen the two guys here? Let's do it. Oh. Can you see us, guys? Can you hear us?
That?
I cannot see you guys.
They
I
can't.
cannot see you though.
All right, hold on. Zach's over here whipping it up. Oh, yeah. Hold on, Alex. Before we get into anything, we got to talk about some shit real quick.
Okay, I see Jack.
Okay, you can see Jack. Can you see us?
No.
All right, hold on. Can you hear our voices? Gavin, Kill, you want to say what's up?
What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on, lads?
What's that? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yep.
hear you.
Very clearly.
We're just working on getting video on your end. How about now?
Yep.
You can see us?
I got you.
Yeah, we can
Right.
see you.
Okay. Alex, this is going to be news to you. But
Yes.
this morning, my best friend of nearly 16, or what are we going on? 17 years. This would be year 18. Calls me, and he never calls me. So, and I'm like, yo, this dude's been ducking all my calls. Fuck that dude. Know what I'm saying? Stiff arm him. He calls me. I don't pick up. I get a text. It is my best friend, Jack Bigelow, of 18 years, with a young woman in a photo of an ultrasound.
Oh shit!
Got him.
I cannot believe it.
Congrats.
Yo, I was bawling my eyes out all morning, calling people out. Like, you guys, you think you know, like, what to expect out of life. And Alex, we'll obviously talk about this in a sec, but like, you just, like, what the fuck, bro? Like, it's crazy, man.
Damn, Jack, congrats, dude.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I had to join you
Yeah.
on the life of fatherhood.
Oh, you're gonna love it, man. It's good times.
So on the way here, I decided we are going to dedicate Conrad the Last Defender to Alex, your brand new baby girl, and now Jack's brand new baby son.
Let's
go. It's a boy. So it's a boy.
Yep. Just found out this
Oh
morning.
boy!
Congrats,
Nice.
man.
If we were really some marketing geniuses, we would name that boy Conrad.
Hey, it's a possibility.
All right, guys, we'll talk after, but Gavin, Killian, and I have already run about like 30, 40 minutes worth of the podcast, and we just want to give you guys a chance to talk about everything you're doing on the project and kind of what you're up to. Now, first, Alex, why don't you start and just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
My name's Alex. Real name Alejandro Ortiz, or everybody calls me Alex. For this project, I'm the director. I'm going to be doing a lot of VFX and sound. I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything. So,
He's a
work
jack
with
of all
Conor.
trades.
Yeah. So I worked with Conor in the last film, Apple Cinema, and now we're going into this crazy endeavor. And we've been talking about building a dragon. I've been telling Conor, no, we can never do a dragon. It's the hardest thing to do in VFX. And next thing we know, we're making dragons. So that's kind of like where we are right now. But yeah, I'll be directing the film and doing a little bit of everything. So that's basically my main role for this.
And what about you, Demon Boy?
I'm Jack Bigelow. I'm creative director of the project. We'll be focusing mostly on the marketing and branding for the film. And as previously stated, I've known Conor for a long time. Worked with him on a number of projects, including the last one, Apple Cinemas.
No, Jack and I started the whole brand together when we were 19. He was the first one to ever make the deer logo, and he would oversee all my videos on YouTube, and he's been my best friend forever. I don't know why he's talking like a politician right now. This is crazy.
The Golden Deer logo was the first graphic design that I ever created. It was Conor's push to make me into a graphic artist, so I have to give him full credit for that.
It was the Coach Connie logo, right?
Yeah, that was the first thing I ever made on what was it, Microsoft Paint. It was like eight pixels. It looked like absolute shit, but hey, we're here.
I promise. I said this on the last one, but once this project's done, I'm gonna get it tattooed on my thigh here, like a real LA soy boy would do, right?
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm gonna start drinking green juices and get kale salads. Okay, Alex, let's talk about how you and I met in the first place, and then what you did on the last movie, and kind of what that process was like for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit me up through Instagram. I don't know how you found my stuff, but yeah, he was looking to do this very complicated VFX film with a post-apocalyptic look, full of haze, and that was my life for pretty much all summer, I think, right, Conor? So we did like over 150 shots of VFX haze that we needed to add with no green screen. It was just pure roto. If people that know VFX, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, we did that, and I think it added a lot of cinematic value to the movie. And then we did this really intense nuclear explosion that hit Boston, and that was very fun as well. But yeah, it's basically that's how we met, and ever since we executed that, I guess we built this really good relationship, and now we're off to the next project, you know?
Jack, you should speak to this. On the last one, Jack and I had no fucking idea what we were doing. Like, literally, we had no idea. We were like, we shot stuff outside the theater, and we were like, all right, we're going to turn this into an apocalyptic world. We're going to just figure it out. And we're going to destroy Boston. We're going to figure it out. And Jack, you can speak to this. We sent all this stuff to Alex. He's like, bro, like, you're giving me nothing to work with. So essentially, in post-production, and Jack, I'll let you talk, we realized Alex was the chosen one.
And we saw the pure amount of effort that Alex put into rotoscoping everything, layers on layers of things, and he saved the project in a sense. He really pulled it out of thin air, and he made the project complete. And full kudos to him. He really showed us that he is the chosen one for sure. We're like, damn, this is the guy we need to work with. So,
well, he's the reason it looked like a Hollywood movie, and that was our goal. Like, how do we make a little mini motion picture in Boston?
You need the VFX to complete that. So,
yes, yeah, it was a lot of work, but we learned a lot. I learned a lot, and the cool thing is that that movie wasn't shot with a high budget, and we still made it feel like a Hollywood movie. So something that we learned in that project a lot.
Now, Bix, when did we come up with the idea for Conrad?
Conrad, we started actually talking about it during production of the last film. Near the end of it, we had started kind of thinking about ideas, and we said, let's do a dragon movie, and we got excited about it, and it kind of and then as the movie as Apple Cinemas was rolling out, we kind of stopped focusing on that idea, and we're just focused on the rollout of the movie, putting it in the theaters, all the marketing and whatnot. And can't remember exactly when, but that was when that Killian got involved and began in the writing process of Conrad, and it's been an ongoing process ever since. I mean, there's been times where it was put on the back burner, and then I think it wasn't till, I don't know, a few months ago that it was like, all right, we're doing this, set in stone, we're making it happen.
Bix, how long has it been our goal to come out here and make movies?
Oh man, since we're 19, it's been a long time.
I'd say 16. Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about making movies since 16. Yeah, 100%. Making movies in high school and film class and skipping classes so we could film together. And oh yeah, it's been nonstop.
Alex, what about you? How long have you wanted to do this?
Movies since I was 12.
Was it Star Wars what you liked?
That's when I started shooting movies, when I was 12. So, I mean, and I would cut it, back in the day, you didn't have, I'm older, I'm 39, but back in the day, you didn't have the computers like you can edit. So I would connect two VCRs and I would edit VCRs to make my movies.
No
and
way.
Then I will connect the audio for the VCRs, and that's how I will make all my movies. So I've been doing this for a while now, and I love seeing how technology's evolved and make things so much easier for everybody. But yeah, this has been my dream forever. So I'm glad we're doing this right now.
It's funny to see just the transition from cutting it on a VCR to being the guy who's our like lead visual effects designer working on all the computer. That's pretty awesome. It's come a long way.
Yeah, a long way. But I still remember when Connor's like, let's do a dragon movie. We're going to do a dragon movie. I'm like, I remember having that conversation, hanging out with Connor. I was like, this guy is freaking nuts. I don't know. Like, is he serious? And then I was like, you know what? Let me look into this. And then I started looking into dragons and stuff. And that's how I got around doing that animation that I don't know if people's been seeing floating around of the dragon landing and throwing a fireball. So, but yeah, eventually we figure it out, and I think we're in the process of figuring out this amazing dragon that we're getting designed right now that I can't wait for people to see. So, but yeah, Conor, I thought you were nuts at the beginning.
Has anything really changed, man?
You pushed us. You pushed me, and we are making it happen. So. Yeah.
Bix. Now tell me about the look of Conrad as the character and how you want the film to look and kind of what your role is going to be as a creative director.
Well, as creative director, I'll be focusing on the overall look of the film. More specifically, the marketing and branding. That's going to be probably my biggest role. Once the film is complete and during production, I'm going to be working a lot with certain set design and stuff like that. We didn't want to go completely traditional with the medieval kind of fantasy movies that you've seen in the past. We wanted to have that a little bit of a modern look, bringing like aspects in from a bunch of different movies that we've seen in the past, to kind of make it our own. But in terms of Conrad itself, when we were looking for logos and for the branding aspects, obviously, Golden Deer Productions got to be a gold logo. Got to have some gold in it. Golden Deer, Golden Dragon. So there's gonna be lots of gold in this film. That's for sure.
Well, let me tell you, just so we can clarify, what Jack has, which lots of humans do not, is he understands what looks good. It's just intuitive to him. He can look at something like that's nice or that's not nice. So when we shoot this thing, he's the set of eyes saying like, okay, I think people are going to like the way that looks, or that looks like trash. Am I right?
Correct. Yep. 100%. Yeah. I mean, just being interested in, I'm a visual guy, never was very good with my words. And so pictures are always my thing. So I'm very excited for this project, and I know it's going to look better than the last one. So that's all we can hope for, progress, and I hope it's an amazing film.
I know. What would your special ed teacher say now, man? Look at you.
They'd probably be like, you really got to work on your pronunciation.
They'd probably be like, damn, you're really having a son? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
We want the film to be really fun. Like and I know these are details we're still ironing out, but we want all those exteriors to feel like a fantasy world. Am I right, gents?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
I know some of our references were like the Voldemort scene with Harry Potter battling and stuff like that.
Gladiator, huge
Gladiator,
huge influence. Yeah,
for sure. Kill, any questions for Alex?
Not so much a question, but more of a statement. Alex is incredibly easy to work with. Whenever I'm writing and thinking about how the reader and most importantly the director is going to perceive what I write, I just feel like we're usually on the same page, and I feel like it's because you just simply love film. So I think when it all comes down to it, you're just a passionate fella, and it really shows.
Yeah,
thank you.
I feel like Alex, like the thing I like about working with you a lot is you definitely have vision. You know what I mean? You know exactly where you're going with things. You know exactly what you want to see, and that's, from my side of things, very, very helpful. Just to, here's what we're making, and you're like, this is what I want. Great, let's put it into action.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, appreciate it. My whole deal too is like when you work in a group setting, it's like a teamwork. Everybody, when you're making a film, everybody's got to put their input. Everybody needs to, is going to come with creative ideas. It's like, how can we all meet in the middle without being a dictator over like, oh, it needs to look this way, it needs to look that way. So they're just trying to find everybody's like niche and creative, specific creativeness that can lead to, a good collaboration. So that's what I look. And I like when we're in set and everybody's throwing ideas and everybody's, collaborating and, hey, let's try this. And I feel like once everybody's in that creative mode on set, that's what makes filming fun to me, so.
Totally.
Alex, let's not dive too much into it, but let's talk about creating some of the VFX on a technical end. How are we going to go about doing it? Because people don't even understand how this shit really happens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of VFX. There's like superficial VFX. Maybe that's not the right terminology, but there's VFX that you don't even notice, like atmospheric VFX, like maybe fires, like torches and stuff that people won't even know that's there. But all those are the elements that I feel like it will add value to a film. And then there's the intense VFX that it's a VFX, like with a dragon. So the main process right now that we're taking is like most of the focus right now is in building the dragon. And that's where I'm at right now, making sure we get the dragon and the animations right. Because we're on a tight budget. We're trying to make specific animations in my brain for the dragon that could work for the script. So we're not trying to go very crazy creating all these different animations and all these different techniques. But overall, first step is we build a 3D asset. And then after building a 3D asset, that means texturing, animations, and all that stuff. Then after that, we got to get into the film production. That's filming with green screens. And then we're also using another technique of using photo scans as well to build our set. I can get very technical, Conor, but I don't think people are going to understand. But basically, there's going to be a lot of green screen in this film. That's all I can say. And a lot of 3D animations, which I done a lot in my previous music videos. So
I think what people actually care about all of us as a group is where we're all at in life as we're creating this. So Jack, what are you doing? Where are you right now? And what is your day-to-day like?
Guys, I live in Vermont, United States of America. And, I'm a full-time stonemason, and I have a masonry business here in Vermont, selling steel buildings and doing high-end masonry work. So that's my focus, and then also doing graphic design on the side. And I love doing anything creative, and I love building, like the process of like creating something and packaging it. And I get that a lot in my own business, and I love doing it for film as well. So I'm excited for this project, and I'm also going to be a dad soon, so that's a whole other side of it too.
Just creating all over the place.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, Alex is no simp either. This is his first, correct me if I'm wrong, big film project, but Alex is a pretty dominant director in the Latin music world.
Yeah, I directed like over 15 videos. Like my top video has like over 40 million views.
Wow.
And I have a bunch of other videos. All the videos that I've done are like pretty well known artists, so they're all up in the millions and the millions of views.
He's humble as hell, but essentially Alex directs videos for like all the biggest stars in like Latin America, like correct me if I'm wrong, like Mike Towers, Brian Myers.
I mean, I directed most of the videos for like Coscuyuela, doing Baby Rasta, Young Miko. I did a video for her. She's an up and coming artist from Puerto Rico. But all the others, Mike Towers, Raul Alejandro, René Bones, all those people out there, I've done a lot of visual effects for their videos that people don't know, but I'm behind a lot of those visual effects that you see in those videos. So I pretty much work with almost everybody in the industry. I did Kodak Black VFX for his last video. I don't know, you guys seen it? Did you see that, Conor? The
Walk.
I forgot the name. Yeah, Walk.
Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, I work a lot in that industry, but I started always wanting to make movies. I just got dragged into that industry. So, but I think it's a good training, because when you do music videos, anybody trying to be a director or work in this industry, in a music video, you got to shoot everything in a day. So you got to build multiple sets in a day. So it trains you how to work quick, react quick, solve problems quick, and you don't have time to breathe. You know, if not, you're going to go into overtime. So it's been a really good training for me how to work in a set and make sure, you know, even if we're rushed and we're running out of time, making things work at the end. And the good thing is I've been doing VFX for over 12 years. So the words that every director and everybody hates, fixing in post, but I'm an expert at fixing it in post. So, because of VFX. So, but don't get used to that, guys. I don't want to hear that.
All right, we're gonna probably have to wrap it up here, guys. Jack and Alex, any final thoughts?
No, I got one thing. So, I mean, a big thing that me and Conor talked about when we were finishing up our last movie was that for the next one that we wanted to create a super team, and I think that we've done that. And I mean, you guys are awesome to work with, and you know, I couldn't be more excited about this project. So just wanted to say that.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm just very pumped with this project, and glad I met Conor and all you guys. Feel like you guys were like the missing key that I needed as a creator. And I'm really looking forward to doing this project. I mean, I feel like people are going to be blown away what we can do. So, and they'll see it soon with a Kickstarter. So
Very excited for that. Yeah.
All right, brethren, I love you guys. 2 new dads. Look at that.
Yeah. Come join the circle, boys. You can come join us.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know about that.
I'll give it a few years.
Yeah.
I saw fear in your eyes.
All right, love you guys, man. We'll talk soon.
All right,
Okay,
peace.
later, guys.
Love you.
Okay. All right. Let's just wrap up the episode. We're still recording, right, Zach? Okay, thank you. My bladder is about to explode, so let's finish this out. Guys, who's on my right? Camera left.
Gavin, I'm one of the producers.
And Killian Dunn, I'm the writer.
And we are producing a sick Dragons movie. Live from the Snake Pit. I'm looking like a maniac, but Conrad, the Last Defender, the Kickstarter is out now. We're great guys. We're going to make an impeccable project for you guys. Thank you for all the love. Let's give them a flex. There it is. All right, Zach. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.